Hello, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. How are you? Or good afternoon. How are you guys? Some of you might have seen me earlier today, but I'm back. I am back with a special guest, and I need you to pay attention. Sit up and pay attention and call your friends and invite someone over here to hear the story, especially if you are into drinking sea moss. So, I have a special guest with me. His name is Christopher Walker. Christopher, good
Waller.
afternoon.
Two L's. Waller. Christopher Waller. Yes.
It's Waller.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I have Walker written down, so forgive me. Waller.
Yes, ma'am. And a lot of people just call me Chris Black. Everybody calls me Black America. That's kind of my nickname.
Christopher Waller. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Waller. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Chris. I have a few other names as well, but that is the one that my mother named me. And I've been on this journey of health and wellness. Actually, I guess I was kind of been on this journey since I was a small child, maybe like about 4 years old, when my mother became a vegetarian. And growing up, I was raised as a Muslim. And back in those days, it was the late 60s, early 70s. That was a big thing among our people. Everybody honey and wheat germ and the Back to Eden book. So I was raised on that. And of course, me being a teenager in New York, we didn't really want to do that as kids. You want to eat all the garbage that everybody else is eating. And
Yeah.
so of course I was eating that stuff, but I also I understood what was taught to me. And so as I got older, I revisited that and I understood, okay, that I had a foundation. And then, I began getting into health on my own because I began meeting people that was into metaphysics and things of that nature. And
Right.
so also I was into, athletic type of endeavors. I was a dancer. I was into action sports and all that kind of stuff. So, and I would get injuries, I would fix myself. Over the years, I realized that, that fix yourself thing is a very, very important thing. And then I began to study a little bit about herbs and Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine. And then later on down the line, I met up with the holistic wellness community here in New York, in Brooklyn, Queen of Fua's family. I came across Dr. Seaweed and Dr. Africa and, people like that. And, then they introduced me to more learning and more knowledge. And as I began to travel the world, I learned that, all around the world, I've been to India, Thailand, Brazil, all around different places all around the planet, South America. And I was always running into, people who are into, farming and holistic health. So I've always had an interest in it. And probably about 20 years ago, it became my lifestyle.
Oh, really? What led you to that change of lifestyle around 20 years ago?
I think it was actually more than 20 because I'm 57. So probably when I was about 27 or 28, I was really, really heavy into like action sports like skateboarding and bikes and snowboarding and all that kind of stuff. And I used to ride a bike for maybe like 14 hours a day sometimes, or
Hmm.
skateboards and jumping off of cliffs and all that kind of stuff. I was really into those kind of crazy things. And when you're doing that kind of stuff, you're going to get crashed up. So when I would get these injuries, and I would be able to use these herbs and acupuncture and things of this nature to heal myself, it gave me an understanding of what you should do. And also, I was extremely lactose intolerant, and I used to be really, really heavy on Haagen-Dazs. That was my drug of choice, Haagen-Dazs. I used to eat like 2 or 3 of Haagen-Dazs a day sometimes. I was addicted to ice cream, and I was never fat. I was always slim. I was always in shape, working out. But I would have these issues with my stomach burning and like coughing up mucus, and it was I was drinking a lot of, consuming a lot of dairy. I used to like pizza, filet mignon, and cheeseburgers and French fries. I was like really heavy into that kind of food, and I believe I used to get headaches. I mean, I used to have chronic headaches from the time I was a small child, and
Yeah.
sometimes I have to go to the hospital. And as I got older, I used to be walking around with bottles of Advils and all kinds of stuff because I was always afraid that I was going to get a headache, especially when the weather was really cold, or when it was weather was really hot, and I would drink a lot of sodas, and but because I didn't really pay attention. I mean, I had the knowledge, but I wasn't really using it to my
Right.
advantage. And once I got tired, I was just like, this is enough of this pain and suffering. So as I began to do a little bit more studying and research, I began to take little things out of my diet. The first thing I took out of my diet was dairy. I stopped consuming all dairy products, milk, ice cream, cheese. Every now and then I do it, like, every few months I might have a slice of pizza or something like that. Or once a year I might eat an ice cream cone or something. But
Mm-hmm.
once I removed dairy from my diet, once I removed processed sugar from my diet, once I stopped drinking tap water, I have never had a headache again since. And I grew up with headaches probably 3 or 4 times a week, but they were debilitating. You know what I mean? I mean, migraines, eye socket. It was terrible. And
Wow.
once I removed these things from my diet, you know, literally it stopped. And so that was like the first really, like, oh wow, that's crazy. So, I think it was really a lot of the chemicals in the tap water and the sugar, but also the dairy. It clogs you up, and it gets logged in certain places in your body. And so your
Right.
sinuses, you know, are connected to your ears. Everything in your head is interconnected. That's why when you go to a doctor for any type of things, it's all the eyes, ears, nose, and throat doctor. EENT, I think they call it.
Uh-huh.
So your throat, your eyes, your brain, your ears, your nose, it's all connected. So when you have something going on in one area, it could be a toothache and you'll get a headache. It could be a sinus ache and it'll feel like a toothache, or your eye will
Right.
start, or you can have an ear infection and your teeth will start hurting, or you'll get headaches, or your eyes will start hurting. So once I started studying this and I started learning, also I left the part out. When I was 17, I went into the military, and the
Oh,
United States Army sent me to medical school. So I did go to medical school, and I graduated what I was studying. I used to work in the operating room doing surgeries. I was a surgical assistant. I worked in the operating room alongside with doctors doing surgeries on people. I would have my hands inside of people, holding their liver while the doctor did XYZ and suctioning, and I was in the operating room for real, for real. So
oh,
I people at very young ages having things cut off their bodies, like from cancer and things of that nature. So it always made me aware of that. That health is important. So I never allowed myself to go too far with anything crazy. You know what I mean? So the first surgery I ever did was a throat cancer operation where they had to remove this young brother. He was only 33 years old. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And they had to remove his from the bottom of his chin all the way
yeah,
to his. They had to cut his entire area out of his body, and it was green, purple, silver, and black. And
yeah.
they popped it. We popped it into a dish, and then I had to take the dish to the laboratory to be examined. That never left me. I also did we had to cut people's limbs off for the same reasons, for eating issues, for smoking
Right.
cigarettes, drinking alcohol, and eating bad food. So these things stuck with me from back in those times. So I never ever forgot what I saw and how the things that we do have an actual real effect on us. So this was always in my mind as I'm going through my journey in life. So I never allowed myself to ever be ill, never be sick. I've never been in a hospital. I've never had a surgery, ever, ever, ever. So this was the beginning of my actual journey of understanding. And so going back to when I was about 27 or 28, 27, 28, 29, when I gave up those things, sugar, dairy, fast food, and probably when I was, you know, by the time I was like 33 or 4, I've never touched a fast food anything again, a McDonald's or Burger King or any of those things. But uh, um, all my headaches went away. I would heal up very easily from injuries. I could cut myself, and it would heal almost immediately. My hair would always be growing crazy. And I have a history in my family of everybody has diabetes and high blood pressure. And, on my mom's side, a zillion people died from cancer. And
Right.
of all men on my mother's side, I'm the only one with hair. And my brother, one of my, and my two brothers. But I think they get it more from my mom's side, but all my men look like my father and my uncles, and they're all balding, gray, pot bellies. And I never wanted to follow that path. So anytime I would go to the family functions, I would never eat anything. And everybody would be complaining, but I'd be telling them about this stuff even when I was in my youth. I always be complaining like, "Oh, why you guys cooking this?" And I would go to, I would always be, once I became an adult and I moved away from my mom, and my mom went kind of back to her civilian lifestyle when she no longer practiced Islam. Then she started eating pork again and junk. And I'd go to her refrigerator, and when I go into the refrigerator, I'd spill this crap and I would throw everything out. And she would
Wow.
and be furious at me that I threw all her food out. But I told her, I said, Mom, I don't want to be, wheeling you around in the chair when you get older. I want you to be
Yeah.
healthy. I don't want you to ever be sick of cancer or anything like that. And she would always be arguing with me. And she would say this thing that a lot of people say: you got to die
Right.
from something.
Yeah.
A lot of our people say that until it creeps up on them and they actually dying from something. And then they get scared and then they want to change everything. But sometimes it's too late.
Right.
So I tried to save several members of my family and was unsuccessful. So this is something this is the reason why I'm so, I'm not even that strict, but I'm very, very concerned for our people. And
Uh,
I'm very, very, very focused on learning as much as I can. And I don't consider myself as any type of expert, but I'm a student. So I'm always here to learn. I'm learning some things every day. We all make mistakes. You get a piece of information, then later on you learn that it's a little bit something different, and you have to be
right.
flexible because at the end of the day, we're all students of the planet and of the universe, and no one is a master of the planet. The planet is teaching us, the ocean is teaching us, and we have to be humble.
Right.
So I hope I
Well
didn't
said.
say too much, but that's my personality. And once I came across Queen of Four and Dr. Seaweed
Yeah.
and like that, it really put me on the path where I said, this is something that I want to do also. I want to be like this. I want to help people because I had so many people in my family and so many people around me that maybe they don't have the money to go to people like that to pay to do XYZ. So maybe I can help them. You know what I mean? To help my own family, friends, and loved ones, and myself at least. And I credit them with a lot of things that I learned from reading their literature, from meeting those people, and from using their products as well.
Right.
So
So,
so
so
once
you knew Dr. Sebi personally?
I met him 2 times, and I have a very acquaintance of mine, a good sister that I know who actually was one of his students, and she's a very brilliant sister. And also my sister, one of my younger sisters, works for my Asabi, who owns the Fig Tree in Brooklyn, New York. And I've been working with Queen of Four's family, just as a friend and a person around for 20 years or so.
Okay.
I've been in that circle, and I've learned a lot from being in that circle, and I've learned how to assist people. And I've also have some elders around me who are extremely proficient in herbology, and they can take you to the forest or to the park and point out different plants and herbs and tell you what to eat for this and that. And you can save your life just walking through the park. So I'm just a student and I'm learning.
Okay, great. So tell us at what point in your life did you come across Cmos?
Oh, well, that's a really amazing story. I think when I was in my early 20s, I used to be in the music business. So I had a lot of friends who are very famous and rich right now. And I was hanging around these people. I was always on the set of music videos and doing, I also worked in fashion. So I was working as a stylist, and I worked in different for different fashion companies and stuff. So being in this environment, you get to meet a lot of celebrities. So I was on a set of a Maxi Priest video. And at that time, my son was about 1 or 2 years old, and and they liked the way he looked because he had dreadlocks, and I used to have actually long dreadlocks down to my knees.
And he's Jamaican.
Yeah, man. So me being in that circle, I was fortunate to meet Barrington Levy, and I met Denroy Morgan. And so when I met Denroy Morgan, he kind of, I guess, he took a liking to me. And one of my best friends was a kind of a music executive at the time. And Denroy Morgan invited me to his house and my friend to his house for dinner. So we was like, heck yeah. We go to his dinner and to his house, and I believe we was in Flatbush, if I'm not mistaken. This guy had a big house in Flatbush. And so we get out to his house for dinner, and they cooking it up, And when I got to his house, this brother had 4 wives, and he had at least 20, he had 21 to 25 children, if I'm not mistaken. And 4 wives. 3 of the wives was in the house with him at the time. And a large portion of his children were there. They had a recording studio there. Some of them had like their own construction companies. They was doing it. They had businesses, and it was like a bee's nest in there, And I was just like, wow, how does a man keep all of this going? And this guy was sitting there with his big beard, with a big smile on his face, looking so royal and happy and shining and glowing with power and energy. So when I saw him, I was like, wow, that's what I want to be when I get older. I want to be like that guy right there. So when I was asking him, I said, yo, brother, like, first of all, you got all these women in the house and you're married to all of them and they're all your wives and they're not fighting, they're not arguing. Everything seemed to be going and it was literally like moving like a machine in there. And I was like, how do you do it, brother? And the man said, it's the Cmos, brother, the Cmos. And I was like,
how old do you think he was at that time?
Yeah, I think I probably was maybe like 24.
Now, how old was he?
Oh, I don't know how old he was, but I mean, I know his children was my age. Some of his children was my age, so he wasn't that young. He had to be probably back then, maybe, I don't know when he made that record.
40s.
Yeah, he was what, 40s, 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
But he was a very, very energetic and strong brother. You know what I mean? For his age, and he looked like a king. And so I was like, whatever you're doing, man, I want to do it. So he told me about the Cmos, and I was like, I never heard of Cmos before. So he had one of his daughters and one of his wives make us some Cmos, and I drank the Cmos, and it was delicious the way they made it. So I was like, wow. So after that, every time I went to a West Indian restaurant, I would always drink Cmos. But it's not like I made it myself or I was really heavy into it or anything like that. And so along my journey, a few years later, I met another brother in Central Park because I used to be into skateboarding and rollerblading and doing, all kinds of crazy tricks, jumping over buses with ramps and so I was out there in the park and, a friend of mine, a brother who befriended me, he was an elder to me at the time. He probably was maybe like 50 at the time. And this brother was another one of those royal, energetic brothers, but he was a very small, 5'7", I weigh 150 pounds. This guy was probably maybe like 5'4" and 125 pounds. But small guy. He will always be on his roller skates or his rollerblades with 40-pound weight vest on, 10-pound, 20-pound weights on each ankle, 10-pound weights on each hand, and he'd be rolling around, spinning around. He had a backpack with all kinds of stuff in it at the same time, and this guy would be skating for hours, skating for days. And he also had several ladies that he was dealing with in the same space. So I was like, at that time I was like, yo, how do you do this, brother? And he would have
so let me get this straight. You were mystified about these men, how many women they were able to manage. That's kind of what attracted you.
Every young man is focused on that. You're a young man, you're focused on keeping it strong and so that you can do what you got to do to get the ladies that you like. That is what every man who likes women is focused on. The reason that we want the things we want in this life is so that we can get the women that we want.
So it's safe to say what attracted you to Cmos was the stamina of these people and the agility.
Yes.
of the men that you admired who were in fact
You know, that,
drinking
that
Cmos.
that was my focus, my number one focus for wanting to be involved in consuming CMOS. So I
Uh-huh.
met this brother, and he was a person who made and sold CMOS at the time. He would make CMOS like gallons of it and come to the park and sell it.
Right.
So he and I became very good friends, and he would give me CMOS, and his concoctions were so potent that it was like literally like it would give me so much energy that I would chase him around for this stuff. So we became very good friends, and he became like a surrogate uncle to me.
Right.
Today he's my uncle to this day, and
Oh,
he's almost 80 now, and he's still doing the same thing, roller skating, weights on the ankles, doing pull-ups upside down. This guy turned me on to gravity boots, which is these things that you put on your ankle where you can hang upside down and do sit-ups. This guy had a weight vest on doing this, and like I said, this guy was a small guy. So, and we'd be skating literally sometimes like 25 miles a day. So he turned me on to the CMOS also. So now we back at this CMOS thing again. And I was just like, yo, I got to get into this. So
okay.
he began to teach me how to make CMOS and teach me all of the properties and benefits of CMOS and why CMOS was good for you. All of the mineral content, how it came from the ocean, and inside the ocean lives all of the nutrients and the powerful minerals and organisms of the planet is in the ocean. So he
Right.
began to talk to me about all these things, and I was sucking it up like a sponge. Now, this guy, he's a jack of all trades kind of brother. So he knows a lot of things. He's had many, many journeys. He healed himself from cancer several times, from hernias and all kinds of stuff. I watched him do it. I met people who were healing themselves, and it fascinated me that the human body could regenerate itself like that. I even had an accident where I cut off the tips of my fingers and grew my fingertips back.
Oh,
That
really?
was the proof for me. After that point, I was just like, oh yeah, human beings have maximum capacity to do all kinds of things if you align yourself with those truths, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this
Mm-hmm.
one day, me and this brother, he asked me, hey man, he had a moving job that he was doing. He asked me if I could help him, and I needed the money. So I was like, yeah. Unfortunately, we get to this building with this big truck full of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Elevator's broken, and we had to take all of this stuff up to the 8th floor.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about 8 flights of stairs, but we got to move a truck full of stuff. We get all the stuff up there. I'm exhausted. We start in the morning by like 6 p.m. Just exhausted. I
Mm-hmm.
can't walk a step. So this guy's just drinking Cmos all day and tonics and things like that. We didn't even eat, and he's still going. So we get down to the end of the truck, and there's a refrigerator. And I'm just like, yo, brother, we need to find some crackheads out here or something, but I'm not carrying that refrigerator up the stairs. You can count me out. And so he was like, come on, you can do it. I'm just like, no, I'm done. So he says, all right, don't worry about it. I got it. And I'm just like, you got it. And so this guy goes into his truck and takes up a strap. And so he said, well, at least help me get the refrigerator into the staircase. So we get the refrigerator into the staircase. This guy takes a strap and puts it around his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
We put the strap underneath the refrigerator. He pulled it onto his back. And I swear, he carried the refrigerator up the stairs by himself, strapped to his forehead. That was
Wow.
it. That was it for me right there. After
That's
that, the
that's
guy
like your ultimate proof right there.
was
I get all the
like,
sex thing
you're the
and
guru,
all that.
it. As you can see, this is it. We doing this CMOS all day. We don't
Yeah.
play with CMOS, you know what I mean? And that was it for me. I was convinced at that point. And so from that point on, I've been drinking Cmos as much as I can every day since that point, and every now and then, we're human beings, we fall off a little bit here. But even when I travel around the world, and I travel a lot, I take
Uh-huh.
Cmos everywhere I go, and I prepare everywhere I go. So it's like my what do you call it? My lucky rabbit's foot. So I mean, I've had mates that I used CMOS to help them heal from fibroid tumors, people with cancer, and like I said, I'm not doing anything. It's nature. It's them who decide to go along with the actions that nature can provide to you if you can put yourself in the right mindset. And
Yeah.
so I very, very, very much know many, many, many people who have used Cmos and other herbs and plants to heal themselves from every sickness that you can imagine. People who have brought themselves back from the brink of death. So I'm thoroughly convinced, and since the day of the refrigerator on the forehead, I've been a CMOS advocate. The brother taught me how to prepare CMOS, and I've been preparing it ever since. But first, it was just for myself,
Uh-huh.
and a few people here and there, and
Uh-huh.
then I was in a relationship with a young lady, and she was suffering from some very, very serious, internal issues as far as fibroid tumors is concerned. And I was really trying to figure out the best way to help her. At that time, I was heavy into juicing and CMOS, and I kind of got her into it as well. But to really, really put her over the edge, I took her to, Queen Afua, and because I was like, at the time I was really busy, so I couldn't really give her the attention that she needed. So I took her to Queen, and I even paid for her to go through this program Queen had, and she wouldn't do it unless I did it as well. And at this time, I had never done anything. I'd never done a fast, and she had her 21-day fast program. I fasted for Ramadan, but that's not the same. That's not really a
No.
fast where
No.
you really don't eat any food for like almost a month. So she agreed to do this if I would do it with her, and then I did it, and it also changed my life. In other words, I have never been so vibrating on such a high frequency, feeling healthy and healing. And this sister went from excruciating pain to limiting her cycle to like a day and a half, 2 days, 3 days
Wow.
max. So I learned that the fasting and juicing and CMOS can do that. It will heal you of whatever is going wrong, because what it does, it tonifies your system. It rebuilds you on a cellular level. It
Mhm.
rejuvenates your cells, especially if you can take a break from doing harm to your cells. If you
Right.
take a break from doing harm to
And
your body
the
is
fasting
designed.
does allow for that, because while
Absolutely,
you're fasting, you get rid of
absolutely.
everything
And the
like.
reason it does that is because all of your internal organs was designed like a machine to keep everything functioning optimally. But your
Mhm.
system was designed to keep out things and eliminate things that were harmful to your system. But we
Right.
eat so much poison and toxic things, and things that actually our body was not actually designed to consume, that it overwhelms and overloads your organs, and it makes it so that they're crippled almost. In other words, they start to malfunction because they can't process, because you're putting too much on them, and they wasn't
Yeah.
designed to eat spaghetti and meatballs. So when you eat something like pasta or bread, and I'm not saying that I never eat pasta or bread, but this is just the science that your body was designed to eat things that nature created. So it can decipher a piece of lettuce, a piece of spinach. It can understand what that is and process that. But if you eat a piece of bread, it doesn't know what bread is. So you can chew it up, swallow it, and your body will run it through the system, but it doesn't digest properly because it's a combination of things that we put together, even though if it's not a good food combination, human beings don't really care about that. We eat things
Right.
because it tastes good.
Mhm.
And you
Oh,
might be eating something that tastes good, but it might not actually be what your body was designed to eat. So your
right.
body has to figure out a way to take the things that it's made of and take them apart again and try to recognize them in a short amount of time, so that it can actually use those things. But sometimes, if it's created into a form that your body can't identify because it's depleted of its nutrients, then all it does is passes this through you.
Right.
Sometimes it may stick inside of you. It might stick inside your intestines, and it's stuck all in your intestine walls. It's like glue, like cheese. Cheese is something that you can't digest. Red meat is something that the body does not digest.
Right.
You chew a piece of steak, and what it does, it might break into smaller particles, but it will never dissolve.
Right.
You swallow this big lump, and it just like bumps around inside your body. Some of it sticks to the walls of your intestines because there's all kinds of mucus and all kinds of gooey stuff in there, and then some of it passes out through you.
Right. And
Right? If
that's
you
why the fasting is important.
absolutely fasting and juicing and eating raw is important for that reason, because
Right.
sometimes raw greens it helps to scrub that stuff off of your intestines. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And then the juice, flushes it out.
Right.
Water flushes it out. So
Hmm.
the first time I ever got a colonic was the time that we did that 21-day cleanse, and it was not comfortable for me. It was
Right.
very pleasant, but the results were astronomical. It was astounding. I've never, ever, 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 ever felt that clean ever in my life. Literally, there was stuff I wasn't even eating, and there was stuff coming out of me that I was like, where did that from?
Yeah, I know.
I was in the system for months, and for some people, years. When you find really obese people who are like hugely obese, where their arms are, big, hanging under their
Mhm.
arms, and they got three stomachs, and can't even close their legs. Those kinds of people have stuff in their body that's been
Been
in their body for years. So
backed up.
basically, this is no disrespect intended, but just to keep it technical, they're
Yeah, you
literally
can have stuff backed up in
they're
your
also
intestine for a long, long, long time.
you know,
A long, long
people are
time.
like literally walking around like human garbage bags with sludge and sewage inside of them, to the point where it extends outside of their intestines. Their intestines swell up to like 5, 6 times that excuse me, that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then the stuff starts turning into pus, and dispensing all around their body till their face and their neck is swelled up. People are getting gout and having to get their limbs cut off. And I like food too. I mean, I'm a foodie. I love food. I travel all around the world and eat food from so many places, but there is nothing that I like more than living.
Right.
Food that
Right.
I like to the point where I would allow it to kill me.
So
So
do you know of anyone personally who um been on the CMOS, treatments, diet, whatever regimen, and it has really dragged them back? You spoke about your friend, your girl who had
absolutely.
problems with
Absolutely.
menstrual cramps, but
Yep.
anybody with any more serious illness than that?
My own mother, who's now an ancestor, she had diabetes for, my mom passed at the age of 72, going on 73. She had diabetes probably since she was 30. And so I don't remember exactly how long ago, but it was a while ago, where she discovered that she had cancer, right, in one of her breasts. So when she came, and my mom was a very high strung, intense person. So once she struck, so this was like any bad news would make her go crazy. So she was extremely stressed out and, like, really literally like losing her mind over this. So me being involved in this, and one of my sisters also really being into holistic health community, we were trying to assist. She didn't believe in the holistic health route. And finally, we were like, okay, I would go around to all of the doctors with her, and I would speak to the doctors, and I would, once they found out that, I had some knowledge of how the human body worked, they were like, oh, this guy, I said, how do you know this stuff? I said, yeah, I went to medical school, And so once they understood that I understood what they were talking about, and I could translate it to my mother, and then they would even tell her, you should listen to your son. So I told her, Ma, you don't need to get surgery. We can fix this. And so my sisters begged me and begged me and begged me to work with her. And finally she agreed. And so I put together a Cmos program. I went and lived with her in her house for 30 days. And I did not leave her house. I threw everything out of her refrigerator, replaced it with the things that I thought she needed. And she did a fast for a month of just CMOS and raw stuff, kale salad, juicing, for the first 10 days. allow her to eat salads and things of that nature. And then after that, it was just like juicing, Cmos, Cmos. I would make the stuff and sit on the table and like, look, drink it. And I would have to stand there like a little kid until she drank the drink. And it was really, it was one of the most difficult things I've ever done, because when our elders are stubborn, sometimes you just can't get them to move, even if it's going to save their life. But she wanted to live, so she did it. Within 2 weeks of us doing this, she went to see her doctor, and they were like, "Oh, your diabetes is gone. I don't know what you've been doing, but whatever you've been doing, you should keep doing it." So that was my first understanding. Oh, wow, okay, like look, her being on this regimen, diabetes is out the window. She never took another medication ever after that. Insulin was on. All of that. I can't eat bananas, or I can't drink juice. It's going to make no, done. Just from changing the way she ate. Mm-hmm. So then at the end of the 30 days, she went to see her doctor, and they found 0 traces of cancer in her body.
Wow.
0.
Breast cancer?
Yes, yes, ma'am. So this is not something that I'm making up. We're not lying on mama.
Surgery.
No. Well, hold on. I'm gonna get to that part, right? So she's fine now. No cancer. She's so happy, ecstatic. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, son. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So a few months later, but she's still like, people when the C word comes up, now they're terrified. So she's going back and forth to the doctor, and they say, well, you don't have the cancer anymore, but you should still do the surgery. So literally, they mentally tormented her until she actually went and did the surgery.
Even though they didn't see any cancer
at all.
That don't make no sense. What did they cut out?
They removed her breast, because they convinced her, well, it can come back.
So deal with it when it comes back.
Well, but you have to understand how our people have been programmed to trust these people. They've been programmed to trust these people who are making money off of your pain and your sickness. That's why you will never hear any doctor or hospital speak about healing, because their job is not to heal you. Their job is to do surgery and prescribe medicine and drugs to you. They don't want you to be healthy. They do not. They don't have a program or programs designed for a healthy lifestyle. That's why if you've ever been to visit someone in a hospital, even after they do surgery or have anything, look what they give them to eat. Jello, ice cream, fruit cocktail from a can, chicken, rice, macaroni and cheese, and microwave food in the hospital. So obviously, they're not really concerned about your well-being or your health, because they don't do anything that's designed for health in the hospital. That's not what they do. They prescribe drugs, and they don't make any money off of you if they don't do anything. So later on down the line, I learned how they make off of doing surgeries. So imagine you going to the doctor and they're doing all of this. They're trying to convince you. They think like, aha, we got one. And then you walk away and say, well, no, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
And then, you know what I mean? They're going to keep chasing until they can try to keep
your mom after they let her do that surgery or convince her to do that surgery.
It had a traumatic effect on her emotionally, but she was happy that she was alive. And what I tried to explain to her is that, and this is with no disrespect to anybody in the medical profession, but in all reality, there's really no such thing as cancer. You know what I mean? So it's a terminology that they created to describe a chain of events that takes place in your body. Your body produces these cells naturally. It's not something that you catch like a disease, because this is not a disease. It is an effect of a cause of something that you're doing. You know what I mean? Like polio, I guess you would be considered as a disease, or malaria, because that's something that has nothing to do with you. It's like you stepped on a nail and then you got gangrene, or you got bit by a mosquito and you got malaria. That's not something that your body produced. Mm-hmm. Your body would produce cancer cells to fight off something that's happening inside your body. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand this, and the medical profession knows this, but they don't teach people this because they don't want you to know. even though it's readily available if you do the research and you study. But at the end of the day, they don't understand that there's even say, oh, there's breast cancer. There's no such thing as breast cancer, because cancer doesn't give a excuse my language. Cancer doesn't care about your breast. So if you have cancer and they cut your breast off, or if you have what they call cancer and they cut off your breast, what will happen is it's like pimples. If you get a pimple here and you pop the pimple and you put some medicine on it, the pimple is caused by some things that's going on inside your body. So it's not on your face. It's coming from inside of you and pops out of your face because there's toxins that's trying to leave your body.
Right.
So they manifest on your face right here, right? So if you can get rid of that pimple, you didn't get rid of the cause of the pimple. So then what happens is a week later, boop, now you got another pimple somewhere else.
Right.
You keep on popping up pimples until you stop doing the things that causes the pimples.
Right.
So
root cause.
Right. These
to get to the root cause of
absolutely. So these so-called things that they're calling things are the result of a lifestyle, a behavior. So what happened later on, right? As my mom, she maintained that healthy kind of existence for a minute, and she would cheat every now and then as time goes by, people forget and they go back to eating the stuff that they was eating before. And then also if you're a high-strung person, you have all of this stress in your life, then stress can really cause you some serious internal damage. You know, you can have a stroke, heart attack, diseases can form inside of you from stress, and so later on, she has another issue in her uterus or something. So she comes back again. Oh my God, it came back again. And I tried to let her know that, well, it's not that it came back again, but you return to that lifestyle. And if you want to dissipate this again, then you have to go back to doing all that healthy stuff that you don't like to do. And so she didn't like exercising. She didn't eat right. She didn't want to do all these things. So once again, we did it again. And again, through the same regimen, it went away again.
So that was the second time.
That was the second
was able to fight it off.
That's the second time. So literally, she went to the doctor after we did this time, probably maybe about 40 days of juicing, bitter melon, papaya leaves, soursop leaves, and soursop tea. And I mean, she was drinking herbs like crazy, just juicing and drinking herbs. Went to the doctor, no traces of the Seaweed. But once again, they convinced her to do a surgery. So after a while, me and my sisters were like, hey, like, why you keep doing this? Why you keep letting these people cut on you? Because when you do that, what it does, it causes a trauma to your system. Because, everything that you have in your body is necessary. They didn't create you with nothing in your body that you don't need. So even things like people getting their tonsils taken out, you need everything you have, you need your appendix. Oh, it doesn't matter. Then if it didn't matter, how would it be in your body? They created it and put these things inside your body because they don't serve any purpose. So when you go to the medical profession, they tell you to cut things out. It's ridiculous. I think even Dr. Seaweed said that. He said, if your body was designed to be, we'll have a zipper on it. So you're not supposed to be chopped open. The only time that surgeries are necessary when it's an extreme case or if you have some kind of traumatic injury. If you have a traumatic injury or you have an extreme case, then sometimes surgeries are necessary. And Africans created surgery. But they wasn't just giving you surgery for any reason. Every time you get a pimple or a cough, then they want to give you a surgery. You know what I'm saying? We have to change our lifestyles. We can't keep running to surgery for things because and drugs because it's always a side effect. There's always a traumatic response when you do that kind of harm and damage to your body. These injuries cause us serious havoc. Your system was designed to work like a well-oiled machine if you treat it right. So, the things that we consume, and of course, we're on Earth, it's the year supposedly the year 2022, and we're going to do things. We got pollution in the air. Water's not as clean as it could be. But guess what? You can still live a long, healthy life and be extremely functional if you maintain some semblance of wellness in your life, And I want to say, salute to elders like Dr. Seaweed and Queen Afua and Dr. Africa, and even even Gary No, people like that who have been on this for decades and decades and decades. Even before that with the book Back to Eden, back from like I think that book came out in like the 40s or 50s or something, maybe, that these people who are there with their lives on the line, doctors who get into like holistic medicine and begin to tell the truth. Anytime you see any type of drug that the system that the pharmaceutical companies come up with, there's always some kind of disclaimer, and it tells you, if you have like, indigestion, you should take this drug, and then they tell you that the drug may cause blindness, impotence. Like, you mean to tell me that just to eat a garlicky slice of pizza with 4 cheese pizza is worth you getting a stroke or impotence or blindness?
Yeah.
You're going to take medication for that? And so that's why there's so many lawsuits about so many different things of these pharmaceuticals that be killing people. Personally, I know about several people who have passed away from this so-called shot that everybody's taking. This is people that I know, that I am personally connected to. So that is not a rumor that people are dropping off from that. And I don't think that it's everybody that does it, because I know a lot of people who have taken it and they're fine or they're assumed to be fine. But a lot of people who have gotten very, very ill and then they recover.
But do you find that the Cmos is helping these people who are getting ill all over from?
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, everybody that I know personally that suffered from the C thing, the COVID, I just, they called me and was like, hey, and I was just like, yeah, here. I gave them some Cmos with some infusions of different herbs, and it was gone like that, including myself and my mate, including my own family members, my own son.
Okay. So I noticed that a lot of people have been asking for Cmos drink, gel, whatever forms of Cmos there is, since we have had this global crisis on health, and so Cmos has become even more popular. I'm from the island, so Cmos was always something that was popular. Jamaicans usually, mainly males, usually drink it though, and some females who think they're macho. It was never really something that ladies.
Ladies also,
but the males would drink it. But now a lot of people are just learning about Cmos, and so there's this rave about it and what it can help with. What are some of the other things that it with the sexual thing?
Aside from helping with helping with men's libido, because actually lends a lot of nutrition to the prostate, and it also helps to clean you out. It also helps to recalibrate your system. So the reason that a lot of men have a lot of issues with impotence and things like that is because they're not getting enough minerals. They're also eating a lot of things that is like, pressing on blocking up their intestines and pressing on their prostate. So prostate damage, that's like men who get their prostates removed. After that, they're impotent.
Right.
So the prostate is very important for men. So to have a healthy prostate is absolutely necessary for your manhood. It's also very beneficial for females as well, because it's good for the health of your uterus. It's also good for your breast health. It also helps to help you to produce breast milk. So and it's pregnant women because it's packed with minerals and nutrition, so it's helping your baby, grow inside of you strong and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, you can make baby food with it. You make your own vegetables, steam your own vegetables, mash it up, and you put a little bit of CMOS in it and give that to the babies. They're going to grow up strong and healthy. Their systems are going to be working really optimally. They're going to have a lot of energy. Their
Right.
skin will be healthy and clear. There's another thing, people with skin in issues. Personally, I have, nieces and nephews and a lot of, young people around me. And, I have some one or two celebrity people that I'm affiliated with who are having skin issues. I gave them some CMOS. They start drinking the
I mean,
CMOS. Absolutely. This is a fact.
I'm,
I didn't pick it up,
I'm seeing here that CMOS can help with heart, because seaweed is a superfood. It
Mm-hmm.
promotes weight loss. It's a good source of iodine. So people who have low iodine issues, hypo,
Mm-hmm.
they can take this because it does have a lot of iodine.
I
It
think it helps.
supports.
I think it helps both ways because what I find that CMOS does, it kind of like because your body understands what it's consuming even more than human beings are doing all these studies, and the most expert of all experts on earth that ever lived does not know more than the actual system itself knows. In other words, if you couldn't read and write and you never heard anything about anything, you could eat something and your body knows whether it's good or bad or not.
Right.
That's it. Without
Mhm.
any actual scholarly intelligence, your actual system knows more than you could ever know.
Right.
So that's the case is your body knows what to do with all of the different elements in a thing.
Yeah.
So what I find is what CMOS does, because it has so many different aspects to it, it actually helps your system to recalibrate itself.
Okay.
You
So that's why they said it builds muscles and aid in workout recovery.
Exactly. So now if you hear, so the first thing you said, oh, it aids in weight loss. But at the end, at the same time, if you're trying to gain weight and you're working out, it helps with that because
Mm,
it's intelligent. It's a life form that is intelligent. Plant life is very intelligent. It's the
mhm.
highest form of intelligence on the planet. Plant life is more intelligent than human beings. That's why
Mhm.
plants don't create problems. Plants
Right.
don't make things that's going to destroy plants and destroy the earth. Because even though people may think they're intelligent, the earth is more intelligent. So the plant life on this planet is highly, highly intelligent, and it understands more than we do. So when you consume certain plants, it knows the plants know what to do, and your cells know what to do with those plants. It knows how much to eat and how much to get rid of. You may
Okay.
think you like a gallon of vitamin C, but your body knows, you just needed this much, and then you go and urinate the rest out. You don't determine how much you're going to get rid of. The body determines. We have to trust nature more and understand that nature has the answers. And that's one thing
Okay.
that baby said, that
Right.
nature has the answers.
And they're also saying here that it supports fertility, having neuroprotective effect,
Mm-hmm.
and immune health. A lot of us know about that since, especially
Absolutely.
since COVID, that it helps your immune system,
And
right?
so can I address something you said about what you said before
Fertility.
you said fertility. It absolutely helps to increase your fertility and helps with to increase your sperm count.
Mm,
Also, your electrical system is concerned, the energy and frequency of the CMOS helps to rebuild that system. Me, myself personally, from back in the days when I was doing all kinds of crazy action sports and flipping and jumping off of cliffs, I had a very serious injury. I have 3 herniated discs in my neck and 2 in my lower back. At the same time, I dislocated my shoulder, bruised my lung. I got really crashed up one time really bad. So I've been suffering with pain from these injuries for 30 years.
mm-hmm.
The only thing that really keeps the keeps it in check is me consuming CMOS on a regular basis.
Mm,
Because if you take the CMOS in its raw form and you take your hands and you rub your hands together and roll around in the CMOS, when you take it, when you put the Cmos down and you go like this with your hands, you will feel the energy buzzing and zapping inside your hands. It'll feel electric. You can feel the electricity in the Cmos. You can
Wow.
feel it on the plant itself from
Wow.
all of the minerals in the Cmos. So
That's
it is an electric food. Literally, it's electrical. So it helps to rebuild that wiring. You know what I mean? And
really,
that's
really good stuff. Really good stuff. Really,
good
really good
for
stuff.
eyes, good for your eyes, good for your vision. You know,
It's
because of the minerals in the ocean. And anybody who lives like, if you ever go to, you from the islands, the people that be on that be them fishermen, you ain't never seen them wearing glasses.
no.
I live in West Africa in the wintertime. I'm not there this winter because I'm working, on the Cmos business, and so I had to stay here. But I ain't never seen a fisherman with glasses on because they're in the ocean, and when you open your eyes underneath the ocean, all those minerals in the water, all those elements in the water, it heals your eyes.
Oh.
So I've even had people who's having really issues with their vision because they smoke cigarettes. So when you see people smoking a cigarette, they got the cigarette hanging out their mouth and they got one eye open like this because the smoke is going in their eyes.
Right.
So I tell them, go to the ocean, sit in the water. I wouldn't go here, Coney Island, and do it. But,
No.
if you or in Africa or in a place where the water's clean, you go sit in the water and you open your eyes underneath the water and you just roll your eyes around and you watch, your vision will start clearing up.
Right. That's
The
great.
sister that I know who worked with Dr. Seaweed, she's one of his students. When she was at the Usha Institute, when she was at the village, she had terrible vision, terrible vision, and she's the one that told me about the healing waters that they had there. That she would go in these waters and bathe in the waters, and then one day she went to put her glasses on and she couldn't see when she put the glasses on. So she took the glasses off.
Oh.
She was bugging and she glasses back on again, couldn't see. This is my good sister. Her name is Marina. If you can look at one of these videos, and you'll see her in the video. And she
Wow.
said that from that point on, he couldn't wear the glasses anymore because the herbs treatment, the herbs and all the nutrition in the water was healing up her eyesight.
Right.
So when she wore her glasses, the prescription was no longer any good. So it healed her.
So I'm seeing here that Cmos has a high content, very high content of iron, 10%, of the daily amount that you need. That's a high amount.
And a lot of zinc is good.
Also at 7%.
Yes.
So that, and zinc at 4%. So no wonder it is great for your immune system.
Yes, ma'am.
Phosphorus.
So I want to add one more thing. I think that everybody should have this in their diet. Everybody should be consuming this. And there's a lot of
consumption. What are different ways that we can consume Cmos? Obviously, from all accounts, it is great and wonderful for us to have. But what are the different ways we can put Cmos together so we can consume it?
Well, the number one way is obviously through drinking it. So what most people are doing, they're taking the raw Cmos. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. Let me just taking the raw Cmos. Here we go. You see, this is called full spectrum. But if you look at this Cmos, it's gold, but it also has elements of purple and green in it. This is from Tanzania, East Africa. This is probably the most potent Cmos that I've ever seen in my life. And I've had Cmos from many places, from the Caribbean to Southeast Asia, and even the European Cmos. But this African Cmos is the best Cmos on the earth.
Okay.
It comes in this full spectrum. It comes in a very, very light gold color, and a beautiful green color, and purple. And the number one way that people are consuming is they're making it into a gel and they're drinking it. Right? That's one way. Also, we also do a Cmos powder. So we make Cmos capsules. And I do maybe like 10 different types of infusions with different herbs, and I make capsules with it. So that's another way to consume it. through the capsules. You can also put it in food. I put it in soups. I make ice cream with it. And, I learned a long time ago when I was kind of on an international hunt for Cmos, that Cmos is in a lot of things that we don't realize. In other
Yeah,
words,
because they use it as thickening agent.
that's right. It's a thick. In other words, the substance called agar is a type of Cmos, and that's what they use to make gummy stuff with. Anything that's gummy and gooey, a lot of times it has agar, and they use it as a thickening agent in ice creams. So
Right.
I learned about this, and I probably learned this like 15 years ago. No, probably maybe like 8 to 10 years ago, I learned this because I started making my own ice cream because I actually 20 years ago, I learned this, but I didn't really put the correlation together because I wasn't looking to make Cmos into a business. So I just learned it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because I used to live in Brazil part-time. And when I was there, I lived, we had literally, it was my life was incredibly healthy. It was running every day at the beach, going, foraging, hiking in the woods, rappelling, going to waterfalls. And this was my everyday life. And so the friends that I was there with, we would make our own ice cream. We would just freeze different fruits, make our own ice cream. And I would take a little bit of Cmos with me sometimes and be, blended, making stuff. It was kind of like by accident. And so when I'm a dad and I'm also a grandfather. So when my granddaughter was small, my son and his wife was really into like, a holistic lifestyle. So to this day, none of my nieces and nephews or my grandchildren have ever been vaccinated or anything like that, or they don't take drugs, don't really consume sugar and things of that nature. So I started making my own ice cream for my granddaughter.
Okay.
And that really got me experimenting with stuff to the point where now I make my own ice cream, I make pies and things like that. So you can put it in desserts, you can make your smoothies and your drinks, tea, and I also use it topically. So I also make body creams and things of that nature for rashes, just for getting rid of scars. I make salves with it. I put it in, mix it in different things to make salves. It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. Like I said, I'm 57 years old. I'm looking a little crazy right now because I got the hat on. But as you can see, I got a full head of hair, and I don't really have any gray hairs. And
yeah, talk about that gray hair stuff.
my hair was turning gray.
Yes, you have a story about Cmos helping.
My hair was turning gray, and my hairline, I had been going through a lot of stress, so my hairline was starting to look a little crazy. I'm getting older now, so of course, these things are going to happen. And I guess I could be all have a little bit of vanity in us. So I don't want to have my hairline back here. So I started like making different concoctions with Cmos and Jamaican black castor oil. And literally, it made my hair. It stopped my hair from receding, but it also stopped my hair from turning gray. So now I just have a couple of little grays on the side right here, maybe one or two here and a few here. But on the top of my head, I don't really have hardly any. So
the grayness didn't continue.
It didn't continue. It's really slowed it down. And eventually we're probably all going to turn gray, but also also make bath products. So a lot of so I just want to address something. There's a lot of misinformation about Cmos, about the benefits of it, about the potency of it, about this being better than that, about fake Cmos. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Nobody got fake Cmos. This rumor about the fake Cmos is absolutely insane and ridiculous for this reason alone. If someone was to make fake Cmos, that means they'd have to be doing it for monetary reasons. Now, why would you go out and spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to make a pool where you could have fake Cmos, where you could just go to the beach and have real Cmos for free?
Right. That would make sense.
By nature, it comes out of the ocean for free. So I could take this Cmos right here and take it to the beach and put it in the ocean and on a string, and it will start growing. That is not fake. Okay. That has the same exact minerals as any Cmos that you get. That's like saying, oh, use sea salt. It doesn't matter if you swim to the bottom of the ocean and scoop up a bag of water and dehydrate it and get some salt, or you go 20 feet up and you scoop up a bag of water and get some salt. The ocean is the ocean.
Right,
And no
right.
human being has control over the ocean, and no human being is a master of the ocean or knows all of the aspects of the ocean. So these conversations are counterproductive, and they're a little bit arrogant and ridiculous.
Yeah,
Nobody knows and fully understands the dynamics of the ocean unless you're a mermaid or something. So
yeah.
to go and swim
So,
to the in the ocean
right.
and pull the Cmos off of a rock, or if you take that same Cmos that you took off of a rock and you put it on a string 2 feet down in the ocean and it starts growing, it doesn't matter. And nobody has done a test to determine there being a difference. So at the end of the day, it would be ridiculous for somebody to have to create a gigantic pool inside some building that's a wave pool where they're making CMOS when all you have to do is go to the ocean. The Chinese have enough money if they're going to produce CMOS to go to Jamaica or to Africa or anywhere they want. They're everywhere on the earth. So if they wanted to get CMOS, they got them. They can get it. India, they have CMOS. It's all over Southeast Asia. CMOS grows on its own. This is a blessing that the Creator gave us. No human being made this up or created it or discovered it.
Right.
Animals and fish was already eating this. And fishermen who were smart enough to see the animals eating it was like, oh, look, they're eating that. It must be a good thing. Just like we learned how to eat stuff on top of the earth from when we saw animals eating it.
Right.
CMOS
So,
is no
so what are the different types of CMOS? Because you have a variety of them, right?
I know you have what do you call it? Gracilaria. What's the other one that Gracilaria is one of the most popular ones that everybody uses. And then you have the one that Dr. Seaweed liked, what's it called again? Condis crispus.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding and my research, which is a lot, I read up on CMOS a lot, and there's over 200 different types of CMOS, and nobody knows which one is better than the other one. So there is no such thing as this one's better than that one, and that one's better than this one. There's no one knows that. Realistically, nobody knows that because nobody has all different types, all 200 types of CMOS to determine, you know, which one's better. And
Mm-hmm.
personally, I don't like Condis Christmas at all. I have some right here. I dislike it intensely. I have made it before. I have consumed it before. It was not as good as this right here. And this strain is called Eucheuma spinosum that from Africa. Um, it smells better. It prepares better. It heals better, in my opinion. But I also think that some of these things are left up to personal taste. Some people like pineapples. Some people like guava. Some people like this better. You know what I mean? So I think it's really about you trying different varieties and seeing which one you like better. So far, I've even offered it to different people, different types. I have one here called Eucheuma cottony, and this is one that people used that's was a very popular strain for a while, but I think it's kind of like it's being depleted, so it's kind of hard to find like the pristine version of it. But it is some of the most amazing CMOS in the whole world, and this CMOS comes from Southeast Asia. So some of the CMOS that comes from Southeast Asia is not so great because, I think that sometimes when people are doing this as a business, as an industry, they're not as careful and they don't really care the way that we care because they're not the ones that's eating it. So sometimes people, the way they use it, the way they handle it is not the best possible way. So sometimes, let's say if you go into the Korean market here in New York City and you go get a bag of that CMOS and it's kind of like gooey and it's a little moist and they got like rocks and dirt and oil in it, you have to understand probably that CMOS comes from a place that the water is not that clean. So I think that is more of a determining factor than, which strain that it is. How clean was the water? Did the oil tanker dump oil or they throwing trash in the water there, you know, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but you know, everybody's not equally as clean in this world. You know, you can go to some nations and hygiene is not important to them at all. So if you're going to buy Cmos from people like that, then you got to understand that you're taking a chance. You should know. I mean, there's really no way to know unless you're in industry. Most people are not. But I think that most of the Cmos that we're getting and seeing today, you know, you're seeing some really, because it's become so competitive, you're seeing everybody step their game up. Cmos has become more expensive. You should be able to get a pound of Cmos for $5. Now the average price is $40. You know, and I think that is worth it because if you're getting some very, very pristine and high quality Cmos, it's worth it. It's like if you're going to buy some coconuts, you can buy some coconuts that got mold on them, or you can buy some really, really pristine coconuts that where the water is sweeter and the meat is more smoother. It's worth it, you know.
Right.
Paying for what you want, you know, a better quality coconut oil. If you want the best quality coconut oil, that's the cleanest coconut oil, it's going to cost you more money. It's unrefined, you know, cold pressed coconut oil. The process of making it is more intense. It's more expensive to make it, and its qualities and its results are better. So it's worth it. You know,
so let me ask you, the stuff that you used to use for your hair for that helped with the grain, did you ever produce it into something that you sell?
Yes, right now I have to be out of it. My beautiful lady, she produced some product that makes your hair grow back because, you know, she's a beautiful sister, and you know, being a beautiful sister, you know, I don't call it vanity, I just call it cultivating of beauty, you know. So this is something that she worked on for herself, and so we combined it with the Cmos, and it really, really works. And we're in the process of making some more because when you make things like that, it goes really fast. So right now we don't have any of that at the moment, but we're in the process of making some more, and in the next 30 days we should have more of that hair product produced.
Why is it you don't have castor oil? Is that it?
It has Jamaican black castor oil in it, yes.
Okay.
That Jamaican black castor oil is miraculous.
I know. I sell it. I know.
Right there, that.
Oh, that's what's here.
I don't live without it. I use it on a daily for everything. That's the only thing I use.
So this is the cold press version that I sell.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's why I was asking you what you got going on back there.
And that's the regular black one that you'd normally get.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh,
we got cold press. It's very, very potent.
Oh, I need some of that, Mama.
Seriously potent.
So where you located?
I'm in Harlem.
Okay, we got to meet up because we got to do an exchange. I need some of that. I need some of that. I got some goodies for you.
Sure.
Else, another thing. This is another pet peeve of mine. Salt on the Cmos. Somebody came up with this idea that if the Cmos got salt on it, it's fake.
But it comes from the sea. It has to be salt.
So this is something, I don't know who came up with this.
It has to be salt. It's from the sea.
It's been extremely, extremely harmful to our people, because I've had people call me from all around the country and even other places in the world telling me that they threw their Cmos away because they heard and somebody said that if it got salt on it, that is fake. Now, if Cmos comes out of the ocean, how could it not have salt on it? Not only does it have salt on it, but what they don't understand is the Cmos does not only have salt on it, the Cmos has salt in it. In other words, let me show you something. This Cmos has been cleaned over and over and over and over again. But I let it sit out and dry up again. And look, inside of this dish is filled up with salt. Because the salt is not on the Cmos, the salt is coming from inside of the Cmos.
It's a part of it.
It's a part of it. Matter of fact, understand something. When they say, oh, Cmos contains XYZ amount of minerals, no. Cmos doesn't contain minerals. Cmos is minerals. It is the minerals. So if you throw away the salt, what you're doing is you're throwing away the minerals. This is the minerals that you're throwing away.
Yeah, because that's where all this stuff are stored. The nutrients.
like Malcolm X said, you've been bamboozled. And that people did it. I'm not saying that anybody did it on purpose, but the idea that Conjus Crispus is the best CMOS, that's a falsehood. The idea that the salt on the CMOS is bad, that's a falsehood. Whoever said that didn't know what they were talking about. With all due respect, they were incorrect. The salt on the CMOS is so powerful and it's so good and it's so healthy. When you go buy sea salt, what do you think that you're buying? That's like you throw all the CMOS, the salt away from your CMOS, and then you go to the store and pay a whole bunch of money to buy the same thing that you just threw away. But this is even better because look what the salt came out of.
Wow.
Came
Wow.
out of the
Powerful,
CMOS. So
powerful
how
stuff.
much mineral you're getting. So what I did was I tell people, well, guess what? So what I do is I clean it, shake it off 1,000 times so that I can get as much of the salt that I possibly can off of it. And guess what? I keep that. And with that, I make all kinds of products with that. That is
Make
so,
the
so, so
bath
powerful, potent,
salt and stuff.
so healing. It's so potent and so healing that you could take a bath in some of the concoctions that I make, and you will be you could be like, oh, I got a sprained ankle, oh, I got this, I got that, and you wake up the next day feeling like a brand new baby. Your skin is glowing, you feel refreshed, like you just came back from vacation. So I'm
Yeah.
just this is just these are my opinions. Like I
Okay.
said, I'm no master or any of that. I'm just a brother who
Okay.
likes CMOS.
As,
And I love to be healthy. I love holistic health. I love the lifestyle. I love my people. And I think that we really need to graduate from being sick, especially at times. Come on, everybody knows about health now. Everybody has access.
can you combine seaweed with wheatgrass?
Yeah, why not? I do it.
Mm.
Why not? And personally, I don't personally consume wheatgrass too much, but I consume a high amount of greens because I actually have a combination that I make sea moss infusion. If you can see over here, I got a big gigantic freezer, and it's filled up with sea moss, and I make different concoctions. So one of my concoctions is sea moss combined with chlorophyll. We combine with chlorella, spirulina, moringa, and super greens. And the super greens has alfalfa and a whole bunch of other different, ground up, highly potent greens, plants, and herbs, and ginger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's one of my formulas. And that formula right there, you can't get better than that. So you can absolutely combine CMOS with anything that's good.
Well,
So you
great
know,
to hear, great to learn, great to take this all in.
and I love talking about this. I could talk about this all day long. So this is one of the things that I really love to do. It's something that I believe that the Creator has blessed me with, and because it was given to me for free, that the love was given to me by the people who shared it with me. They wanted to teach me, and so I want to help other people. I want to teach other people. I teach other people stuff all the time. Like I said, I'm no expert, but I just shared a little bit that I know, and I don't even say to trust me. I just tell people, okay, well, try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm batting 1,000.
To
There's not
each his own. To each his own. You're
people-
sharing what you know and your experience.
Yes, ma'am.
It's for them to
That's it. You gotta look. You gotta do it for
from
yourself.
that.
Because I'll never say that I healed somebody. I never healed anybody.
No.
This might be the herbs and the plants and the CMOS and them doing it. You have to do it. Just like I did it for myself. If I get a cut and I put something on it, I chose the things to put on it, then I put it on it. So guess what? I healed myself. And my body healed us. So I tell people do that. And I got 50 people that I could call right now that would be like, yes, and you can ask them for yourself, and they use it every single day. I had a beautiful sister who she was one of my clients, and she was buying CMOS from me, and she was buying a red formula that I have, and she had COPD to the point where she couldn't walk 25 steps without using an inhaler.
Wow.
And she was an elder. She was probably about 72 or something like that, right? She's actually the auntie of my uncle, of my uncle's wife, one of my auntie's auntie. Right. So she was incapacitated for years. Not only that, she had gout. She was overweight. She was like, I think she was like 260 pounds, and she was like 5'3". So she had to lose a lot of weight, and she couldn't breathe. So I got her on a fast. I got her on the program. She did 2 weeks, and when she did the 2 weeks, literally, I got a phone call saying I just threw away my inhaler, and I said, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "Because I don't need it anymore." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because I could." She said, "I walked a mile today for the first time in years."
Wow.
Told me that I was overwhelmed because I never I had never dealt with anybody who had that issue before. But I was just like, well, you can try it because I did the research on what these herbs, what these herbs have, what type of effect these herbs have, and I combined them together. And I asked people that I know who are my elders, who said, yeah, it's cool. One of my ex wife is an actual Chinese medicine doctor. So I asked all of the experts that I know, what do you think about the combination of these herbs? Because I had done my own research, but I also like to get second and third opinions, because I never would like to be a person who gives something to someone that would do some harm to them. So
Right.
so that anything that I do, I make sure I ate it 100 times before I would ever have anybody else eat it.
Yeah, that's me. I have to be convinced first before I sell it to anyone.
Call me on a regular. We would talk for hours and hours and hours, and we became very good friends. So this Cmos really helped to give her, give her a better life. And unfortunately, she just passed away about 3 months ago, right? It was in October. She passed in October because for some reason she just stopped
Doing.
the regimen. So
Wow.
she stopped with the healthy regimen and she got back on her unhealthy lifestyle regimen. And I just happened to be in Africa at the time when she reached out to me. So when I called her, I was like, hey, auntie, what's going on? I haven't heard from you in a long time. She said, yeah, I really messed up and, I'm really not doing so good. And she was actually staying with my auntie at the time. And because she was doing so bad, she didn't want to stay by herself, and she lived in Baltimore, and the environment there was so toxic that she had to go stay in Atlanta where she could breathe some fresh air.
Yeah.
And then she called me because she said, I want to get back on the Cmos again because I'm not doing so good. And I was like, but I'm in Africa right now, so I'll be back in a few weeks. And when I came back, she put in an order for Cmos. I was preparing the Cmos, then I got a phone call before I was even able to send it to her that she was in the hospital. And when she was in the hospital, she never came out.
Wow.
Because when she was in the hospital, it was like, oh, she got COVID and she didn't make it.
That's like
So
too late, right?
personally, I just feel like, they're knocking people off. If they get you in the hospital, they're going to say, oh, you got COVID, especially if you're an elder.
And it's also just comes down to your body and how strong it is to be able to fight off the virus. I got the virus at the very early stage when it just came out, and it physically it didn't like wipe me out. It didn't get into my chest, my lungs, that kind of thing. It didn't. It what it did though is that I couldn't smell nor taste for a while, and until now I still can't smell or taste properly.
I have something for
Like
you.
it has totally rearranged that.
I have something for you to help you with that.
The way I remember things smelling, that's not how they smell. Remember, the way I remember things tasting is not so they taste. Like I acquired a whole different set of things, and things I never used to smell, like things that would upset you when the smelling start to come back. It's like the herbs, they used to smell so nice and thing, now I smell some of them, they smell like bush,
I got something that I want you to try.
But apart from that, no, it didn't
but that's my son, that happened to my son. But what I did was like he lost his sense of taste and smell. But what I did, I made a tincture for him. And
Okay.
when I started taking the tincture, it came back. And actually, a friend of my wife was going through the same thing, and we gave the person some Cmos, and literally, they were smelling the Cmos in the bag and smelling it in the bag, and then when they started to ingest it, it literally brought their sense of smell and taste back.
Okay.
You know, I
Okay.
think
I remember I explained to you my experience with Cmos because I do have Cmos here. I have the powder.
right.
Yeah.
We're gonna work that out. I got something for you. I'm gonna give you the green Cmos, right? You know, I have
I've never tried that one.
right, it's for me, it's the one that I like the best.
Okay.
Not because it's better, because different things vibrate with different people. Like I've had several, you know, holistic health practitioners, and I come with like 4 different strains or something, and they're like smell it, and you know, I don't know if you know who the brother Hank Rising Sun is.
No.
Okay, well, Hank Rising Sun is one of our beautiful elders in Brooklyn who's very much into, you know, metaphysics and a holistic lifestyle and energy pyramids and all of that stuff. And this brother, he does a thing called a muscle test, where you'll put something in one of your hands and then you'll take a weight with the other hand, and it'll determine the energy of the thing that you're dealing with.
Okay.
He's done the test on several different things, and for him, the gold Cmos was the best. We may do a test on another person, and the purple resonates better with their frequency. And another person may do another test, and the green resonates with them. With me, that green Cmos resonates at the highest frequency for me and my system. You know, and according to the Ayurvedic understanding of how the body works, we have 3 different systems. And so, depending on the kind of person you are, you may be more of, you know, fire, water, or whatever the systems are. You may be more of that than this. So you may need more of these herbs and less of those herbs. So different elements resonates in different amounts with different people's energies. So you have to really, really get into this lifestyle to understand for yourself what works better for you. There is no across the board blanket things, even though some things have an across the board blanket attributes. Like ginger is ginger. But for me, I can consume like lots and lots and lots of ginger, and another person, they might only need a little tiny bit of ginger.
Right, right.
It may be too strong for them.
That's true. Yeah.
So, you know, it's a matter of
what your body can tolerate.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So for those persons who will watch this video and want to contact you, can you type it in the chat where and how?
Chat. How do I get into the chat?
You see comments.
Cam comments. Let me see something. Takes it full screen. Comment. Oh, yep, I'm over here. Yes, ma'am. All right.
So you can just go ahead and don't. There's a private comment and then there's a public comment. You could type it in the public comment.
That's the private chat. Okay. Comments. Okay, I'm in the comments.
So that your information will stay with the video.
I don't even know how to
you're not getting it?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah, some crazy people inside here doing crazy stuff. I blocked some of them already, but
what I'll do is I'll put it in a private chat, and if you want to attach it to your video, we can also do this. You can take a screenshot.
Okay. Well,
my info right there.
Okay.
So listen to the video. It's recording.
Bring it a little bit closer. All right. Okay.
ChrisCreator7@gmail.com. ChrisCreator7@gmail.com. 646-704-7148. And my little company is called Superb Bio. That is my division of a bigger company that I'm involved in called Beneficial Cmos. This is my bros who import the Cmos from Tanzania, East Africa. We're working together to bring this wonderful product to you guys from Africa. And like I said, African Cmos is the most potent, in my very not so humble opinion. So
okay,
that's me right there.
All right.
You know, again.
Nice.
ChrisCreator@gmail.com. 646-704-7148. Give me a holler. and we'll get you squared away. I'm working on my website, but I really, to be honest with you, I really like doing it. This is one thing that I like doing the old-fashioned way. I like for people to call me and talk to me on the telephone if they want to order something from me. That way, I don't ever get anything sent back. Oh, I didn't like it. I thought it was this. Like, you talk to me, you can tell we can get to know each other. You can let me know, well, what do you need exactly? Or what kind of issues are you having? Because, like I said, I'm not a doctor and I'm not here to tell you that I'm going to heal you, but I can definitely point you in a direction to find the things that you will need. And if I can't provide it for you, then I will just tell you where you can go to get it. Because guess what? We all brothers and sisters, and I'm not trying to have a monopoly, and I'm not trying to be the man. I'm just one of the men, and I'm a servant of the people. So if someone asks me for Jamaican black casserole, I say you got to go see Sister Everdeen, right?
Ivadne.
Ivadne, you got to go see my sister Ivadne. She got that good castor oil for you. I don't sell Jamaican black castor oil. So I would put you onto her. If you were a sister that you need all kinds of information on the goddess stuff, then I will point you to my auntie Queen Afua. If you needed a yoni steam, I got 10 sisters that I know that make that. You know what I mean? If you need a massage, I got brothers and sisters, that's what they do. I don't have to do everything. But if you need something, I know a lot of people, and then there's nothing that you're gonna ask me that I'm not gonna be able to point you in the direction of someone. I got medical doctors who I'm associated with, who are friends and family members, holistic health practitioners, people who practice Ayurveda, yoga, metaphysics, mind reading, Yoruba priests, whatever you need. We got imams, we got whatever you need, pastors, you need somebody to pray for you.
One-stop shop.
It's wonderful. So, just here, like I said, as a servant of the people, we will, and
Nice.
we love Cmos.
Nice. We'll talk some more at some other time about CMOS, because I do think it is worth educating people about it. Like I said, most people that I know who are from the island who may know about CMOS, they just associate it with, oh, it's something that men drink for their testosterone.
Right.
It's all about sex and so on. So they kind of miss the benefit, learning about the benefits of this for everyone, not just males but females,
Yes.
and the vast
And babies. And don't forget about the babies too.
and the
Even
vast.
even if you got pets,
Mhm.
if your pets are sick or they got some kind of issues, man, you could you could put together like a bath or something and bathe them and wipe them down with it, and their coat will be all shiny. I mean,
Okay.
Cmos it will literally have your skin shine. If you take a bath and you let's say you went to make some Cmos gel, and you take a cup of it and you put it in a nice hot bath, with some Epsom salt and stuff like that, man, you come out and your skin and your hair will be glowing.
Wow.
So, that's one of the things that I provide, that I have a package for you, a nice,
Thank you.
I guarantee you're going to love it.
Thank you. I'll definitely try out these things, because I do wellness, so it's great when I know about these different types of things, so I could recommend it to my people as well. Just a source of information for people. And I know some of my friends would be joining here to watch, because I sent them the video. One of them who is afflicted with pain, like just chronic pain after having an accident, kind of nerve damage, like, and another who is afflicted with cancer. And I'm sure that she would be happy to see this broadcast, because she's one of those persons who decided she's not doing surgery. And so she's trying to treat the cancer naturally to get rid of it.
Yes, yes. Well, I tell people, do a combination of things. If it was me, I'm the kind of person, I'm going to fight for my life. I'm going to do everything. I'm not just going to go to one thing. I'd be drinking Cmos, exercising in the sauna, in the steam room. You also have to realize also that these things are not miracle cures. It's not like when you went to the European and they say, here, take this pill. The pill didn't cure you in the first place. It might knock the pain out, but the symptoms, the issue is still there. And that's why the drugs have a very bad effect on you. But what you really should do is we should all be practicing a holistic lifestyle. So anytime you get into herbs and stuff, you also have to get into the rest of the holistic lifestyle, which is bathing, maybe going to the steam room, cleaning out your pores, cleaning out your intestines, get a colonic. You don't have to do it all the time, but even if you just did it like once a year, you will seriously, flushes, teas. Yeah, every human being has to be into this for this reason. We was doing this since the beginning of the time, up until very recently. Probably up until the 40s or 50s, every human being, at least every melanated human being on earth, was into herbology. Your great grandmother was not going to the doctor to get no pills. She was going to the bushes to get herbs, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't even care if you was born in America. My great grandmother, if you're a black so-called American, because we sometimes we get pigeonholed and say, oh no, we American. The people in the Caribbean or in Africa, they do this. No, we was doing that here too.
Yeah.
Every black person in America comes from down south. I've never met a person who said, no, I've been in New England since 1695. No, we had farms. My great grandmother grew all of her own food. She came from Augusta, Georgia.
Right.
Moved up north. So my great grandmother, my grandmothers, my mother, they all knew how to cook, knew how to prepare their own stuff, knew how to sew. And every human being should know this, because
and some of these practices came with the people from Africa. So obviously they settled in different places, but they brought the same principles with them. So yeah.
And there's no difference between us. I've been to the Caribbean. When I'm in the Caribbean, it reminds me of being in Africa. When I'm in Africa, it reminds me of being in the Caribbean. When I'm down south and you hanging around like really, really in the south, like you were like, yo, you in the back porch with the people who's, really southern. It's no different from African being in Africa. We are all the same people and we all come from the same bloodlines. So we have to really, really, really reunite on this, and we have to really make ourselves and our family and loved ones healthy again. So we should all be involved in this.
Yeah. So yeah, wonderful talking with you, Chris. And I really look forward to seeing the feedback of this video as it goes around and more people are able to watch it and comment. And hopefully some people might contact you who would need your help and your expertise. I don't have the kind of expertise that you have, so
I'm always available. You can use my number. I mean, as long as it's a reasonable time, you can call me anytime between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. 7 days a week. If I wake up, leave a message, and I will get back to you immediately.
Right.
No matter where you are on the earth.
I have to learn from you.
You're
the master here.
Well, like I said, I'm a student. I'm a student. And the creator and nature is Mother Nature is the master.
Yeah.
I want to say something to you.
But I'm committed to the task of learning as much as possible about herbs. That's one of my main business. It's not just castor oil. I do sell a lot of teas and herbs. Probably about 40 something of them.
Wow. Well, I need some herbs from you then. I need to come see what you got.
So,
are you familiar with a sister named Dr. Arikana?
No.
Dr. Arikana, she's an African leader. She used to be, I think at one point she was the ambassador to the African Union.
Okay.
A very, very powerful political sister on the continent, and you really, really, you look like you could be her sister. She's a lioness, a superhero, a Pan-African superhero.
What's her name? Dr. what?
Dr. Arikana.
A-R-I?
K-A-N-A.
Okay, I'll look her up.
Yeah, you look like her a lot.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll definitely continue this conversation at some point, whether it's in a wellness seminar or something. But I just wanted to bring you on for people to be getting some wisdom about Cmos and thinking seriously of including it in their diets.
Yes.
And no better person to explain that than you. You know, if I couldn't do as great a job of explaining that like you have a tremendous amount of experience to share when it comes on to CMOS, and I admire that, and I hope that you will continue to move from platform to platform to spread this good word and good information, because a lot of people could really get help just from that one single weed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
And
You
I
can literally save lives.
for having me here. I thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here on your, that you would even consider me to be here on your platform, you know, and I appreciate you. Thank you for considering
Thank you,
me.
and big up to Brother Rojo.
To talk about what I love so much and share
You're
it.
most welcome. And big up to Brother Rojo and the Powerful Pioneers, because that's how I came across
Brother Rojo and the
your
Powerful
information.
Pioneers. Salute to Brother Rojo, man. That brother right there is a very, very beautiful spirit who has shared so much with so many of us and brought so many of us together.
Together, yeah.
This stuff, man.
Dynamite.
He don't never stop, man, and he's so generous and really, really loves us. So
Yeah.
we salute you, brother.
Yeah. And the work that he's doing, bringing, you know,
Yes,
people together.
absolutely.
People who need to be together too.
Matter of fact, you said this, I'm gonna call him as soon as we get off this call. Thank
Sure. All right.
I'll see you soon, sis. So,
Thank you.
we can exchange some gifts.
Sure.
You have a beautiful day.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Everybody be blessed.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. I hope you found this information very informative, as I have, and that you will listen to it maybe over and over, because you might, you might have wandered off, you might have joined late, you might have, been distracted at some point, but listen it again so you get the real information. That is important. The information that I wanted to share with you guys as far as CMOS is concerned, and the benefits of it for your health. And you could read about it, but when you have someone in the flesh who can explain it to you, it makes a tremendous amount of difference. That he could talk about his mom, and he could talk about himself, and all these people that he knows who are healers in, and what they had to say about CMOS, and how he was schooled into the whole thing about CMOS, and he himself going all the way to Africa to source this to make it available to us. So I want you to have a blessed evening, and I hope you will join me tomorrow as we go to day 4 of the Drink More Water Challenge. And I'll meet you at 1 p.m. tomorrow over there at McLilley Plant-Based Lifestyle page. So take good care of yourself, guys. God bless. And have a beautiful evening or afternoon. It's still afternoon, 3:35. Yeah. And stay healthy and drink water. You notice I was here sipping my water, because it is important that you hydrate your body. Your body needs water, and you have to be responsible about this. All right. So don't let me down. I need to see everyone with that special glow on your face, because you're hydrating your body. Stay blessed and have a good evening. Bye-bye.